updated COVID-19 protocols.
A new bill would bring Asian American history into schools.
And a local artist is using her talents to make the region greener.
Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting Southeast Ohio. I'm Nick Veland.
And I'm Lexi Lepoff. Ohio University announced today that it is reinstating its mask mandate indoors for all students, staff, and visitors to campus regardless of vaccination status. The mandate, which goes into effect tomorrow, comes on the heels of announcements by Ohio State University and the University of Cincinnati that they are also requiring masks indoor due to the new guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Ohio University will also require all residential students to be tested for COVID-19 upon arrival, whether they are vaccinated or not. In-person classes will continue as scheduled with masking and social distancing requirements. The university lifted masking requirements in June, but recent developments with the Delta variant has caused the CDC guidelines to change. Masks are not currently required outdoors on campus.
Athens City District announced its latest COVID-19 safety guidelines today for their coming school year. This announcement gives parents and students a better look at what life inside the classroom will be like in just a few weeks. The district says masks will be required for all students, faculty, staff, and visitors on the bus and during the regular school day. Students will not be required to wear masks during outdoor recess, but after-school requirements are not the same. Student athletes and those involved with extracurriculars will not be required to wear masks at practice, events, or on the sidelines. The district said it will do what it can to encourage masking and physical distancing at athletic and other events, but cannot guarantee that everyone will follow the rules. Another COVID-related change prohibits one-time visitors from entering the classroom doors at the start of the school year, such as volunteers, speakers, and relatives, with exceptions for student drop-off or pickup and parent-teacher meetings. Athens students start their year on August 25th, and Superintendent Tom Gibbs says even the hopes were high for a normal year, the Delta variant and upward case trends will make those policies happen. He also said the district could change its policy to require proof of vaccination once a vaccine has been given full FDA approval.
Good evening, I'm Benjamin Byers. Well, it certainly has been a beautiful day outside, but it's also been a hot day. Taking a look at this week in Athens, those hot days will continue. It'll get very hot with high in the 80s and low 90s. And sadly, those winds won't be too strong, so not really giving us much of a cool breeze as we go through our week with those high temperatures. Right now in Athens, 80 degrees, very hot outside, mostly sunny. And again, those winds not sadly giving us much of a cool breeze at all. And pretty much throughout our southeastern Ohio region, pretty much the same thing that we're seeing in Athens right now, as 82 in Columbus, 81 in Ripley. We see some areas that are in the high 70s, like 78 in Marietta and 78 in New Martinsville. But overall, a very sunny and hot day today in our area. And back to you.
A Nelsonville police officer was killed yesterday in a major car crash. The Nelsonville Police Department received a report of gunshots yesterday afternoon. 7-year veteran officer Scott Dolly was en route with his siren on at the intersection of East Canal Street in front of Rocky Boots. Dolly was then involved in a major 3-car collision. He was sent to O'Blennis Hospital, where he later was pronounced dead at age 43. An elderly couple in an SVU were treated for minor injuries. The 55-year-old driver of a water bottle delivery truck, David Reardon, was flown to Grant Medical Center in Columbus for emergency treatment. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff at public places located in Athens County and also at the Ohio State House. The order is effective today and will remain until sunset on the day of Dolly's funeral.
Columbus police on Wednesday announced the results of a crackdown on illegal off-road vehicle driving. Columbus Deputy Chief Jennifer Knight said that the police have seized 11 all-terrain vehicles, including 2 that were stolen, and found 6 guns on individuals, including a gun possessed by a 14-year-old boy. Police have received hundreds of complaints about packs of off-road vehicles driving and drag racing on both sides of Columbus streets, driving on sidewalks and speeding through neighborhoods. Assistant Columbus Chief Lashana Potts said it's understandable that people want to get out after being cooped up during the pandemic, but they must stick to legal activities.
Last night, 2 special election primaries in Ohio for open house districts came to a close. Mike Carey, who was backed by former President Donald Trump, beat a group of Republicans in central Ohio, while Cuyahoga County Council member Shontel Brown pulled out a victory for the Democratic establishment in Cleveland. Carey will take on Democratic State Representative Allison Russo in the GOP-leaning 15th Congressional District this fall, and in the heavily Democratic 11th Congressional District. Brown is strongly favored in the general election and will face Republican Laverne Gore in fall. But Nina Turner, who lost to Brown in the primary, thinks money had much to do with it.
See, we didn't lose this race. Evil money manipulated and maligned in this election. It took evil money to come in here and do this. But I swear to you that as sure as there is a God in heaven, Sister Turner gonna continue working with every fiber of her being until true justice rings.
Area 11th District voted for either Brown and Turner, dividing the rest among the other 11 candidates. Ohio University's president met with local leaders to discuss improving the region. And a death row inmate's appeal is in question. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
He was bigger than boxing.
I am the greatest.
He was larger than life.
His magnetism just was amazing. Who is this guy?
He was a revolutionary. He was a groundbreaker.
Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Ken Burns captures an intimate story of victory, defeat, and determination.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
Muhammad Ali. Tune in or stream. Starts Sunday, September 19th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
8,000 warriors built for eternity. Evidence of an advanced ancient empire.
No two are demonstrably the same.
The Chinese crossbow is 2 millennia ahead of its time.
Who created it and at what cost?
He was a cruel tyrant. We're seeing an entire culture revealed to us.
The implications are enormous for archaeology.
Emperor's Ghost Army on Nova.
We formed a family to look out for each other. No one else was looking out for us.
3 friends confront their futures and face the past.
How much did you know about what was happening?
Skateboarding meant more to you than being cool and having friends. It was kind of a life or death thing.
The Oscar-nominated Minding the Gap on POV.
On Secrets of the Dead, the most significant Viking grave ever found.
This is perhaps the most spectacular burial in this whole field. It doesn't just have weapons, it has all the weapons.
Everything you need to be a professional warrior. And we now know that this warrior was actually a woman.
Viking Warrior Queen on Secrets of the Dead.
Welcome back. Ohio University President Hugh Sherman met with mayors of regional campuses yesterday, the first time they met to talk about the university's relationship with its branch campuses. Sherman met with the mayors of Athens, Chillicothe, Lancaster, Zanesville, and Ironton. The meeting was pitched by Athens Mayor Steve Patterson over the summer. The main discussion points were how the university can work with the respective cities to collaborate on each other's needs. Patterson said at a press conference today that he believes that the meetings was beneficial for all involved.
It was, I think, vitally important to those mayors because they, one, wanted to express some concerns or challenges that they had experienced within their regional campus cities. But two, also wanted to kind of reach out and say, how can we help you?
Patterson said that the meeting will happen quarterly, with the next taking place in November.
The Athens City Council on Monday rushed through the approval of new mandatory training for city employees. The Race, Equity, and Leadership, or REAL training, will be required for all city employees. The training includes 4 different modules. The first 2 will be required for all city employees. The mayor's direct staff and department heads will also have to complete a 3rd module. The 4th module will be a train-a-trainer curriculum. The total cost for the program is nearly $92,000 from the city's general fund. Concerns have been raised about how effective the training will be and whether the money could be spent on other approaches to addressing systemic racism. Athens Mayor Steve Patterson says this education is necessary and valuable.
When you're talking about the cost unto itself, how do you put a price tag on any training that has to do with understanding systemic racism and the discrimination that has occurred for centuries upon our BIPOC populations?
The timetable for this is long, and Patterson wants to get all employees trained in less than a year.
Last month, Illinois became the first state to mandate Asian American history in its K-12 curriculum. Now, Dylan Tyson reports that an elected Ohio University alumni is making similar waves in the Ohio Senate.
It's a provision Tina Maharath says is long overdue.
We've been in this country for years, hundreds of years, and our history's never really been talked about.
Last week, the Ohio senator introduced the TEACH Act, or Teaching Equitable Asian American Community History, for K-12 schools.
To discuss the contributions that Asian American Pacific Islanders bring to our state, whether that be politically, economically, or even culturally.
Maharath was the first Asian American woman elected to the Ohio legislature. She's also the first to introduce a bill like this one to the General Assembly.
I am optimistic that we will receive bipartisan support. I am requesting for co-sponsor requests from both sides of the aisle.
One of Maharath's Asian Studies professors, Patia Paladroy-Shane, believes this is an opportunity to build cultural appreciation for Asian Americans.
I would like them to come to my class with a sense of appreciation that they're going to learn something new, something that will make them become more well-rounded.
And that doesn't just apply to American students, but also students of Asian descent.
Why I wanted to be proficient in Thai if I don't actually appreciate my own culture, my own history, right? And how I see myself.
She says that appreciation is more important now than ever before.
Especially during the pandemic, that Asian American has been the target groups for racial attack and also racial injustice and even hate crimes.
For Newswatch, I'm Dylan Tyson.
The bill will receive its first hearing in the Senate Education Committee when the legislature returns to session September 7th. Maharath hopes the legislation will be ready for the 2022 school year.
The Ohio Supreme Court will not hear an appeal filed by a former death row inmate seeking to overturn his conviction and sentence for threatening a former assistant prosecutor. 58-year-old Kenneth Ritchie posted videos on Facebook, and the courts determined they were threatening the prosecutor and his family. Ritchie was sentenced to 3 years for each of 4 felony counts, with the sentence being served consecutively. The dual American-Scottish citizen was on death row until 2008 after being convicted of setting a fire that killed a 2-year-old girl. He denied any involvement, and a U.S. court eventually determined that his lawyers mishandled the case. Ritchie was set free under a plea deal, and the Ohio Supreme Court issued its decision yesterday without comment. A local group is working to make the outdoors accessible in Athens. That story is still ahead.
And it's going to be hot this week, but how hot will it get? Find out next in my full weather forecast. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
We formed a family to look out for each other. No one else was looking out for us.
3 friends confront their futures and face the past.
How much did you know about what was happening?
Skateboarding meant more to you than being cool and having friends. It was kind of a life or death thing.
The Oscar-nominated Minding the Gap on POV.
He was bigger than boxing.
I am the greatest.
He was larger than life.
His magnetism just was amazing. Who is this guy?
He was a revolutionary. He was a groundbreaker.
Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Ken Burns captures an intimate story of victory, defeat, and determination.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
Muhammad Ali. Tune in or stream. Starts Sunday, September 19th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
8,000 warriors built for eternity. Evidence of an advanced ancient empire.
No two are demonstrably the same.
The Chinese crossbow is 2 millennia ahead of its time.
Who created it, and at what cost?
He was a cruel tyrant. We're seeing an entire culture revealed to us.
The implications are enormous for archaeology.
Emperor's Ghost Army on Nova.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, who's a model king of the monsters?
Godzilla has become the ultimate pop icon. The monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, the market has come down a little bit on those model kits versus while Godzilla is appreciating because just how cool is Godzilla? Everybody loves Godzilla. He's my favorite.
Find out more next time on Antiques Roadshow from the Hotel del Coronado in Coronado, California.
I'm Benjamin Byers. Well, we certainly have had a beautiful day today, but also a hot day. As right now in Athens, it's 80 degrees, very hot outside with mostly sunny skies and again, those hot temperatures and that wind, sadly not giving us much of a cool breeze if you're outside at all. And pretty much the same outlook throughout our whole southeastern area as 82 in Columbus, 81 in Newark, 80 in New Lexington. We see some areas where we get into the high 70s, such as 79 in Jackson and 78 in Marietta, but overall very hot, but also very sunny. But we do see some areas, especially near New Martinsville, where we can expect possible thunderstorms to occur as we go into the night, but still a beautiful day. Tonight in Athens, we'll cool down a bunch to 59 degrees. We'll have partly cloudy skies. There will be a possibility of thunderstorms, but they will be very small and not long-lasting whatsoever. And luckily, again, those winds won't be too strong enough for tonight. And pretty much the same outlook again throughout our southeastern area with 61 in Columbus, 59 in Athens, 62 in Ripley. We see some areas that get a little low, like 57 in Chillicothe, 58 in Cambridge. And again, we see those possibility of thunderstorms near New Martinsville and in Chillicothe and toward the south with some rain in that area. For Athens, it's going to be hot, hot, hot this week with temperatures in the high 80s and low 90s. And sadly, those winds, again, not really cooling us down much at all. And that sunshine just making it even worse outside. So please make sure to bring water or even sunscreen if you're planning on heading outside at all tonight. This week. Hour by hour for Athens, 8 p.m., 77 degrees will cool down to 64 degrees. Quite a big cool down, but those partly cloudy skies will remain and very low chances of precipitation. So shouldn't expect precipitation as we go into the night. Tomorrow in Athens, 85 degrees, partly cloudy. We'll have clouds in intervals with sun and clouds. And again, the winds not too strong, but very hot as we get into tomorrow. And over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Ben.
An Athens group is working to get the message out about a conservation by partnering with a local artist.
The Athens Conservancy works to purchase land with high public value, says Chris Fall, president of the Conservancy Board.
Either it's an important homestead or maybe it's a place that has incredibly significant wildflower populations.
The group helps preserve private property with environmental value, but also preserves land for public use, whether to hike, bike, or simply enjoy.
And all of them also have important biological features, whether that's a water system or a system that has very few invasives or good wildflowers or huge massive trees.
The Conservancy is working to expand its efforts, both in getting land and getting out into the community to let people know it's there. One way is through art.
So by combining something that spotlights the nature and our land and our Conservancy's preserves, also with beautiful artwork done by a local artist, we thought that was like a win-win and a great way to celebrate both the nature and the art around here.
The Conservancy is sponsoring Savannah Freeman, a local artist who owns Moonville Print Shop, to create a piece representing nature in Appalachian, Ohio. Savannah is no stranger to making art inspired by the beauty of the region. Her block prints, which she carves by hand and stamps onto paper, cloth, and more, is inspired by the nature in the region.
I think that it really mostly inspires me because it's what makes me feel good. I spend a lot of time outside hiking and at Sells Park and at Stroud's Run. I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, and we spend a lot of time outside. And that way I can kind of be doing research for my work and also hanging out with my kid.
Freeman's work encompasses the ideas the Athens Conservancy was founded upon, protecting the land and appreciating and sharing the beauty the region holds. Her piece for the Athens Conservancy will highlight the beauty of Appalachian, Ohio, while the Conservancy will be working with Clean Ohio funding to make sure that nature near Athens is accessible as possible. In Athens, I'm Taylor Burnett for Newswatch.
Those interested in visiting the parks owned by the Conservancy can visit athensconservancy.org.
Hello everybody, coming up in sports, Ohio football's fall camp schedule was released earlier today. Details and scrimmage info coming right after the break. And Jason Preston's former coach and teammate discuss having Preston at Ohio and react to him getting drafted by the Clippers. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, who's a model king of the monsters?
Godzilla has become the ultimate pop icon. The monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, the market has come down a little bit on those model kits versus while Godzilla is appreciating because just how cool is Godzilla? Everybody loves Godzilla. He's my favorite.
Find out more next time on Antiques Roadshow from the Hotel del Coronado in Coronado, California.
He was bigger than boxing.
I am the greatest.
He was larger than life.
His magnetism just was amazing. Who is this guy?
He was a revolutionary. He was a groundbreaker.
Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Ken Burns captures an intimate story of victory, defeat, and determination.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
Muhammad Ali. Tune in or stream. Starts Sunday, September 19th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
Nature's three-part series continues. From the oldest desert in Africa to the highest mountain on Earth. Cats are leading extraordinary lives. They are acrobats in the jungle and opportunists on the beach. Big or small, cats have conquered the planet.
"8,000 warriors built for eternity, evidence of an advanced ancient empire."
No two are demonstrably the same.
The Chinese crossbow is 2 millennia ahead of its time.
Who created it, and at what cost?
He was a cruel tyrant. We're seeing an entire culture revealed to us.
The implications are enormous for archaeology.
Emperor's Ghost Army on Nova.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Brian Kerp. Ohio football announced its fall practice schedule today. The Bobcats open up fall camp on Friday and will hold a total of 19 practices at Peden Stadium. Ohio will also have 2 intra-squad scrimmages on August 14th and 21st ahead of their season opener against Syracuse. Stay tuned to WOUB for updates from Ohio's fall camp. High school fall practices got underway on Monday. Waverly is coming off an undefeated regular season and a Southern Ohio Conference title. With a number of players returning this year, the expectations are the same for head coach Chris Crabtree.
That's one of our goals every year is to go win the league, go make a run in the playoffs, and see how things go. And again, a lot of these guys, we graduated a good group last year, but a lot of these guys were part of that success that are back this year. And so, that standard's kind of been set, and that's where we want to be.
After 3 seasons with the Bobcats, point guard Jason Preston's dreams finally came true when he got drafted to the NBA. Curtis Fader has the details on how Preston got there.
Jason Preston was a stellar point guard for the Ohio Bobcats. Preston came from humble beginnings, never starting on his high school team and playing on the C team at a prep school. After playing a good game at an AAU tournament, he had his friend make a highlight reel. Saul Phillips, the head coach of Ohio men's basketball at the time, was impressed by the tape Preston had, unlike many other tapes that he had received.
To this day, at the Division II level, I get 30 a week and usually in the first 3 minutes you watch and you're like, yeah, he looks like me at 5'11" and not very athletic, and you turn it off in a hurry. But it's not that unusual, but for it to stick enough for it to get the attention of an entire coaching staff, that is unusual.
Ohio offered Preston a scholarship, and the young man from Orlando was coming to Athens. He came into a program that was near the bottom of the MAC rankings and trying to get above a 500 record. And over the years, he, his team, and new head coach Jeff Bowles developed a winning culture.
We really switched it around from a team that was, I think we might have been picked 11th or 12th my freshman year to a team that won the MAC. Like, it was just a crazy turnaround.
To put the icing on the cake of Preston's stellar junior season, Ohio upset defending NCAA champion Virginia in March Madness. After the season ended, Preston declared for the NBA draft and put on a good showing at the draft combine. In the early second round, the Los Angeles Clippers made his professional dreams a reality by selecting him with the 33rd overall pick, while his former teammates watched him get picked in the convo on the Jumbotron.
It was kind of surreal. Like, you see it and you're like, that's like, he was playing in this gym last year and he was our teammate, he was our friend, like, and now he just got drafted into the NBA. It was really a crazy experience.
What Preston's role on the Clippers will be this season has yet to be determined, but the sky is the limit for this former Bobcats career. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Curtis Fader.
I'm Brian Kerp, and that's it for sports. Back over the news desk.
People magazine is highlighting the trials and triumphs of one of America's greatest Olympians. Simone Biles is on the cover of the upcoming issue. The article titled Simone Biles, Guts and Glory looks at how she has changed the sport with her drive to be a better athlete. It also takes a deeper look into Biles' decision to step away from several of the competitions during this year's Olympics. She cited mental health concerns and having the twisties, a mental block in gymnastics where competitors lose track of their positioning midair.
And let's take a final look at your weather for tonight in Athens. We'll cool down a bunch, 59 degrees with those partly cloudy skies. There will be a possible thunderstorm tonight, but it won't be long lasting. It'll just come and go through our area. Hour by hour for your morning commute, 6 a.m. 60 degrees, and then we'll warm up all the way to 73 degrees at 10 a.m. But that sun will be out and that humidity will be high, so it'll be a little bit unbearable outside as you go to your work day. Tomorrow in Athens, 85 degrees, partly cloudy. Clouds will be in intervals, meaning we'll see some clouds and then we'll see some sunshine here and there. And again, those winds not really going to cool us down that much. So 85 degrees, we'll definitely be feeling like 85 degrees tomorrow. And taking a look at the 7-day forecast for the week ahead, we can expect thunderstorms Tuesday and Wednesday, and overall very hot this week. And over to the desk.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Veland.
And I'm Lexi Lepoff. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Snyder, Fuller, and Stroh in Athens, providing retirement planning and assistance to Southeast Ohio for 50 years. Snyder, Fuller, and Stroh.